Have you ever found it difficult to start a conversation with someone you're interested in? The struggle is real, isn't it? We've all been there, standing in a corner, heart pounding as we muster the courage to approach that person who's caught our eye. The challenge of initiating a conversation with a potential love interest can feel like scaling a giant mountain. There's the fear of rejection, a beast that's always lurking in the shadows. It breathes down our necks, whispering negative outcomes and painting grim scenarios. And then, there's the pressure to impress, an invisible weight that pushes us down, making us second guess every word we're about to say. It's like a high-stakes game where the rules are unclear, and the odds seem stacked against us. But what if there was a way to make this easier? What if you could break the ice effortlessly? To conquer a challenge, you first need to understand it. And in this case, the challenge is fear. Fear as we know it is an emotional response to a perceived threat or danger. It's our body's way of telling us to be cautious, to prepare, or to escape. But when it comes to initiating a conversation with someone we're interested in, what exactly are we afraid of? The fear of starting a conversation often stems from a fear of judgment or rejection. We worry about how we'll be perceived. Will we come off as interesting or boring? Will we say something wrong? Will we be rejected? These worries can be overwhelming, and they can hold us back from potential relationships. Moreover, this fear can also be rooted in our past experiences. If we've faced rejection or judgment in the past, we might be hesitant to put ourselves in a similar situation again. These experiences can shape our perception and fuel our fear. Now let's look at another aspect. Fear can also arise from the unknown. When we're about to start a conversation, there's a lot we don't know. How will the other person react? What will they think of us? Will the conversation go well? These unknowns can be intimidating and can trigger fear. However, it's crucial to remember that fear is not always a reliable guide. It's a survival mechanism designed to keep us safe from physical harm. But in social situations, it can often be more of a hindrance than a help. It can hold us back from opportunities and experiences that could enrich our lives. So, to overcome this fear, we need to understand it. We need to identify its roots and acknowledge its presence. Only then can we work towards managing it. Remember, fear is a part of being human. It's okay to feel scared, but don't let it control your actions. Don't let it hold you back from potential relationships. Understanding your fear is the first step to overcoming it. And as we move to the next scene, we'll explore how you can boost your confidence to face this fear head-on. Stay tuned. Confidence is key when initiating a conversation. We've all heard this before, but what does it really mean? The truth is, confidence is like a magnet drawing people in. It's a powerful tool that can shape how others perceive you. Imagine for a moment you're at a gathering, and you see someone you're interested in. You might feel butterflies in your stomach, but here's where confidence comes into play. When you approach them with an air of assurance, they'll see someone who's comfortable with themselves, someone they'd likely want to get to know better. Confidence isn't about being the loudest in the room or the most charismatic. It's about being comfortable in your own skin, knowing your worth, and not being afraid to show it. It's about walking into a room and not feeling the need to compare yourself to others. Remember, your confidence can be the difference between a successful conversation and a failed one. Confidence can open doors that were otherwise locked. Now let's dive into the practical steps to initiate a conversation. The art of conversation, especially with someone you're interested in, can feel like walking a tightrope. One wrong step, and you're plummeting into the abyss of awkwardness. But don't worry, you're not alone in this endeavor, and there are some practical steps you can follow to ease your way into a smooth conversation. Firstly, kick off the conversation with an open-ended question. These are questions that can't be answered with a simple yes or no. Instead, they invite the other person to share their thoughts, opinions, or experiences. For example, rather than asking, "Do you like movies?" you might ask, "What kind of movies do you enjoy and why?" This encourages a more detailed response and opens up avenues for further discussion. Secondly, show genuine interest in the other person. Remember, a conversation is a two-way street. It's not just about you expressing your thoughts and interests, but also about understanding and valuing what the other person has to say. This can be achieved by actively listening, responding thoughtfully, and asking follow-up questions. This shows that you're not merely going through the motions but are genuinely interested in getting to know them better. Another effective way to initiate a conversation is by giving a compliment, but remember, it needs to be sincere and specific. Generic compliments like, "You look nice," may come off as insincere or even creepy. Instead, try to pick up on something unique about the person. Maybe they have an interesting piece of jewelry or their laughter is infectious. Complimenting them on this not only breaks the ice but also makes the person feel special and noticed. However, while these steps can guide you, it's important to remember that every conversation is unique, just like the people involved in it. So, be flexible and ready to adapt. If you notice the person's interest waning, don't be afraid to change the topic. If they seem uncomfortable with a particular line of discussion, respectfully steer the conversation in a new direction. Importantly, be genuine. People can sense pretentiousness from a mile away. It's okay to be nervous or to not know everything, just be yourself. After all, the most engaging conversations are the ones where people feel comfortable to be themselves. Lastly, don't rush things. A conversation is not a race to the finish line. It's more like a dance, where the rhythm and pace matter. Take your time, enjoy the process, and let the conversation naturally evolve. Remember, the goal is to initiate a meaningful conversation, not just any conversation. It's about building a connection, understanding each other better, and hopefully, paving the way for a deeper relationship. So, take these practical steps, adapt them to your style, and take the plunge. You might be surprised by how rewarding a good conversation can be. And with that, we wrap up our guide on how to initiate a conversation. Remember, practice makes perfect, so don't be disheartened if your first few attempts don't go as planned. Keep trying, keep learning, and keep growing. Practice makes perfect, and this is no different. It's an adage we've all heard time and time again. It rings true in every aspect of our lives, from learning to ride a bike, to mastering a new recipe, and yes, even initiating a conversation with someone you're interested in. Why is practice so important? Well, it's simple. Practice helps us grow. It's the process of repetition, of trying again and again, that instills in us a sense of familiarity. This familiarity in turn breeds confidence. Confidence, as we've discussed, is the key to breaking the ice and starting a conversation. Now, you might be wondering, how do I practice starting conversations? It's not like you can just walk up to random strangers and start chatting. Well, actually, why not? It might seem daunting, but striking up a conversation with a stranger is a fantastic way to practice. You can start small, maybe with the barista at your local coffee shop or a fellow passenger on the bus. These interactions, though seemingly trivial, can help you become more comfortable with initiating conversations. And what's more, it's not just about strangers. You can and should practice with friends and family too. Try implementing the tips and strategies we've discussed in earlier scenes in your day-to-day interactions. You'll soon find that the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. But remember, practice isn't about perfection. It's about progress. You're not going to flawlessly initiate a conversation every single time, and that's okay. What matters is that you're making an effort, that you're pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. Each attempt, each conversation, is a step towards becoming more confident, more adept at initiating conversations. So get out there and start practicing. It might feel a bit awkward in the beginning, but trust me, the more you do it, the easier it will get. And before you know it, you'll be striking up conversations left and right without a second thought. Consistent practice is your path to becoming a conversation master. Starting a conversation doesn't have to be a daunting task. As we've journeyed through this video, we've unpacked that the struggle is indeed real. But remember, understanding your fear is the first step towards overcoming it. It's okay to be nervous, but don't let that stop you from reaching out. We've also discussed the importance of confidence. It's not about being the most outgoing person in the room, but about believing in yourself and your worth. People will want to talk to you. Remember, practice makes perfect. The more conversations you start, the easier it will become. So, take practical steps we've talked about and put them into action. Now it's your turn. Go out there and start some conversations, and don't forget to subscribe, turn on the notification bell for more update about successful love and dating, and also share your experiences in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you.